Hi, my name is Andrew McLaren, and I'm going to help you understand domain and range today. So, the easiest example for this for me is to think about hitting a ball and it goes some distance and then it might hit a wall and then bounce back. So you're hitting ball, um, could bounce off wall. And what we want to do is think about the distance it's traveled and how hard you're hitting it, or possibly time. Now, these could be both options for what's going down in the bottom here. And depending on how hard you hit this, it will go a certain distance. So it is dependent. So if I hit this a certain height, I know the distance. So if this, then that. That is the relationship. So if we're talking about this in terms of domain and range, it helps to also get this in terms of the idea of independent dependent variable. So this is your independent variable and dependent variable. So whatever is dependent, it's determined by the other thing. So remember, this is also hitting a wall. And so maybe you've got a different how hard you've hit it, and it's going a different distance. Or possibly you've now hit this a different amount and it's going the same distance. So this is why you can have multiple inputs give the same output, is because that output is dependent on the input and not the other way around. So if we're talking about the word domain and range, it helps you to think about the range as like maybe a golf range or something like that, or a firing range. So you can think about how far this is going as like the range where it could go. And then the domain, this is right here. So if you know domain, this is kind of like a kingdom. This is like yours. So you're plugging this in. That is your domain, and then it spits out a range of possible values that could be acceptable ranges. So you are determining what gets plugged in, and then it spits something out. So if we're thinking about this in terms of like a function, again, something that looks like this, this is very similar to y is equal to mx plus b, but f of x is very similar to y here. So if you're trying to think about this here, you're plugging in an x value, like something's going in, and then something comes out of the function. So what's coming out is your range. And what you're plugging in is yours. It's your domain. You're kind of plugging that in and it gets you something out. So if you're thinking about that vertical line test here, this is passing the vertical line test. So it's good. Like this is still a function. But if we try to flip this, if we try to do like how hard you hit over here and the distance over here, it may look like something that you could graph out, but it is not a function. So this is bad because we're saying like for any input, you've now got two outputs, which means it is not dependent on that input. It needs to depend solely on that input. If I know that input, I know what the output is. And that is not the case when we draw something that does not pass that vertical line test. So you can see in this example, and if you're thinking about the golf range, like, oh, if I hit it really hard, it's going to bounce back and come back. So I can get the same value, the same range value for different domains that I've plugged in. Time is oftentimes given as an independent variable. It is not always an independent variable. Like, for example, if you had an engineering thing and you're changing how much something weighs, and then you're looking at how long it spins, you've changed the weight, which then determines how long it will spin. You could get multiple times that are the same there from different weights. So that, like, in that case, time is not an independent variable, but it oftentimes is thought of as an independent variable. It's just not always the case. Thank you for McLearning with me. Before you go, please check out the following services that I offer with my business. So if you click the link in my videos, this goes to my website. I might be changing it from Podia because I'm no longer doing the interactive videos for sale. I might put those up for free. But most of my other services are linked here. So you can see that I've got like a Teachers Pay Teachers and a Wyzant. The Teachers Pay Teachers has a lot of my assessments that I have for like the NGSS, as well as lessons that I made when I was actually a teacher in the classroom. So I've got quite a few things like CERs and other things on there. If you want to get one-on-one live support from me, either like with science or like working on like teaching support lessons and that kind of stuff, you can sign up through Wyzant. I have a link to there where you can contact me there, and we can schedule hourly appointments. And I've got a few other things on here like a Facebook page and other social media. And if you're interested in getting professional development with me for like a team of teachers, a whole page with information on that. So yeah, feel free to check that out. Thank you.